What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Hello, I'm Chris. I am a 24-year-old engineer, and I'm going to expose myself by sharing some steaming hot tea, which is my
personal finances. Welcome to Chris's Personal Finances. I finally learned how to do audio effects. God, I need a girlfriend.
Money and personal finance is a topic that I'm really passionate about, so this is going to be one of the niches of the channel that I want to pursue. As always, I am not a financial advisor. Nothing I say is financial advice. I'm just a random dude on the internet who likes memes and money. So please do your own research before making any financial decisions, and please don't sue me. Please don't sue me. Before we continue, please pause the video and hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't to show some love. It'll really convince me to keep going, and I always appreciate it. So anyways, let's begin. First things first, I want to talk about why I'm showing you this. I grew up super poor. I had free and reduced lunch in elementary school, middle school, high school. Unfortunately, money has always been a concern for me and my family. So over the years, I've tried to learn more about it so I could prevent myself from having to experience, financial struggles in the future. I think that's why I really like talking about it and why I want to make it a part of this channel. As a result of the way that I grew up, because of this lifestyle, I now track all of my assets and my finances, so that's what I want to share with you today. All right, first asset class I want to talk about is bonds. I own less than 1% of my net worth in bonds. A bond is pretty much a form of debt. So when a corporation or a government issues a bond, they're pretty much trying to raise money for whatever reason and promising a return as long as you don't need the money immediately. Now, don't get me wrong, I think bonds are great and conservative and definitely something people should have in their overall portfolio. But for someone my age, which is 24, and my risk tolerance, I personally would rather invest in something like the market. When I'm older, I definitely plan to change my portfolio allocation to include more bonds. Next up is cash. So roughly 13% of my net worth is in cash right now. I keep my cash in a variety of accounts, but I try to make sure they fight inflation via some high yield savings accounts. One of the accounts that I really like is called Yoda Savings. It's a lottery-based savings account, so if you have your money in this account, you get tickets every week based on how much total money you have, and they have a weekly lottery drawing, and you get entered to win prizes, essentially. You can win some crazy prizes like a Tesla or up to $10 million, but based on the mathematics and probability of the game and the drawing, your average prize every week is calculated to be roughly a 2% APY, which is pretty good based on what you can get from the typical savings account and the national average. Last week I got pretty lucky and I got pretty much a 5% realized APY for the month of September. So you can definitely beat the national average interest. It's FDIC insured, it's pretty liquid, it's not sus. I've been using it for months and it's pretty good and easy to use. But anyways, if you're interested, I have a referral link in the description below if you want to get some free tickets. In general, I think it's always good to have cash in your accounts. A lot of financial experts recommend having an emergency fund that can support your cost of living and expenses for at least 6 months. I recently had a family emergency when Hurricane Ida destroyed my family's business. So that's a perfect example of why you might need an emergency fund. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to read our story and support our fundraiser. But yeah, anyways, 13% of my net worth is in cash right now. All right, next up is individual stocks. So hopefully you know what a stock is, but if not, that's okay. A stock is pretty much a security that represents equity in a company. It's like a slice of the pie, owning a small sliver of the total company. I think stocks are a great way to build wealth and get exposure to the market. There's a lot of different types of companies to invest in, small, mid-cap, large-cap companies, international versus domestic companies. There's also different strategies too when purchasing stocks, if you know what you're doing, such as like options trading, swing trading, day trading, sector investing, dividend investing. My strategy for the most part is pretty simple. I mostly just invest in large blue chip stocks and for the long term too, so something like 10 years out. I usually don't sell a stock unless I see some crazy news about a company or something fundamentally changes within a company that I like. I like companies typically with a healthy balance sheet, a lot of cash, not a lot of debt, good growth, not too crazy high of a price to earnings ratio, metrics like that. Here are some stocks that I have a lot of money in right now. As you can see, I really like the technology sector, which has had some pretty good growth over the past decade, pretty much. But yeah, anyways, these are some of the stocks I own, and it's roughly 40% of my net worth for individual stocks. All right, next up is kind of like stocks. It's index funds and mutual funds. A lot of my money right now is in the S&P 500 index fund and ETF. If you don't know what an index fund is, it's pretty much a portfolio created to mimic an index such as the S&P 500. There's other indexes out there too, such as the Russell 2000, the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, things like that. So the one I like is the S&P 500, which is the Standard & Poor's Index. It's essentially the 500 largest companies that are traded on the New York Stock Exchange. The reason I choose this as my strategy and why I prioritize the S&P 500 index fund is because this guy says it's a good idea. Warren Buffett, who is multi-billionaire, the king of investing, recommends index funds for the everyday investor. Since it's so difficult to beat the market, on average, the S&P 500 and the general market returns roughly 7% every year, and it's actually really hard to beat that rate in the long term. I think I read a statistic that 99% of hedge fund managers and experienced investors can't beat the S&P 500 in a 10-year span. So I think this is a really good strategy, especially for beginners if you just want to put your money in and not look at it. Some funds that are really good that I have include ticker symbol VOO and VTI. These are Vanguard index funds, and they're pretty low expense ratio, so I really recommend these. But of course, this isn't financial advice, it's just for fun. But yeah, anyways, right now I have 30% of my net worth in index funds. All right, the last asset class I want to talk about is cryptocurrency. Now, crypto is a very complicated and controversial digital asset. It's insanely speculative, and there's a community that thinks this is the future and another community that thinks this is a fat L and it's going to zero, so very risky. I'm not going to dive too deep into what cryptocurrency is. Maybe I can do that for a future video because it's so complicated, and I personally don't think I'm super qualified to speak about it. But in summary, crypto is a virtual currency or a network based on cryptography and blockchain technology. A buzzword in crypto is decentralization, because hopefully one day crypto can decentralize the financial system so that no central authority like governments or banks can impact or manipulate transactions. There's a video on YouTube by Vanity Fair. It's a guide about getting rich from Mark Cuban. And interestingly enough, Mark Cuban, who is a billionaire, recommends putting about 10% of your net worth or your money into something highly risky, something like cryptocurrency. So if you want to watch that video, it's over here. I'll link it in the description as well. But yeah, anyways, currently I have 16% of my net worth in cryptocurrencies. Most of it is in Bitcoin and Ethereum. Those are the two largest cryptocurrencies right now. I also own a little bit more of speculative altcoins, such as these over here. I'm not going to talk too much in depth about all of these cryptocurrencies because, like I said, it's very complicated, and maybe I can make it for a future video. But for now, I'm just here to show this is what I'm exposed to. So anyways, 16% of my net worth is in cryptocurrencies. All right, now I want to talk about my thoughts about, my net worth composition, my portfolio allocation. For now, I'm okay with this composition. I definitely would like my cash allocation to be a little bit higher, maybe something around 25%. I want cash because I also want to venture into real estate and maybe buy a condo or a property sometime soon within the next year. I think in general, it's good to have more cash on the side in case there's investment opportunities, or like I said, to build that emergency fund. I think that's always a healthy thing to do. I think I would like my individual stock, percentage in my portfolio to be a little bit lower. Stocks, like I said, are risky, and there's definitely companies that I do my research in and that I like and that I invest in. But like I said, it's really hard to beat the market. So I want to kick down my individual stock percentage to a little bit lower, maybe something like 20%. And I kind of want my index funds percentage to go up to maybe something like 40%. As for cryptocurrencies, I'm not in love with my allocation. I didn't actually intend for it to be this high, but this past year, crypto kind of just exploded. That was kind of beyond my control. But maybe something like 10% of my net worth for cryptocurrencies. Maybe that's my ideal number for my risk tolerance. I'm not really sure. Still trying to figure that one out. All right, thank you for watching the video. Let me know if you enjoyed looking into my finances a little bit. I still think it's a bit sus of me to kind of expose myself like this, but hopefully you enjoyed it, or hopefully you learned something about it. If you have any recommendations for how to change my portfolio allocation, let me know in the comment section below. I'm not a financial expert, like I said, but I'm always trying to learn. So please let me know if you liked the video, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next week. Peace.